Yo,
Hey, week
Hey, hey,
13.
we live.
We live.
Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Just me from the house. I'm not coming into work on Black Friday, no chance. Definitely not going shopping on Black Friday. Is that still a thing?
I think so.
Y'all out there shopping? I mean, online is okay, but the brick and mortar stuff, it begins to be like the worst of humanity, honestly. Airports and Best Buy on a Friday, Black Friday specifically, two of the places I don't want to be. It's like running
yeah,
of the bulls. If you want to know
yeah.
how things would be if shit hit the fan in society, little preview for you. Black Friday at Best Buy and a busy airport. People don't care about anything but themselves. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all boys.
Happy
Was it good?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Was it good?
It was great. Fat turkey,
Yeah.
fat mashed potatoes, fat rolls.
That's what I'm talking
So,
about.
Tasty.
as you guys know, I have an affinity for burrito bowls, and I do this thing with my Thanksgiving plate, where basically it's the same procedure. So I'll load the
Burrito
plate up,
bowl.
stuffing, green bean casserole, turkey, sweet potatoes, and then just bowl it up. Like I'll just
You got a
make one
bowl.
big mash. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you just lay the gravy over top everything. A lot of side eyes at the dinner table from the folks gathered, but it's just the way I
Really?
operate. Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. Not too many bowl folks around the table. At least I don't
Y'all in
know.
the
I don't know
chat.
if that's a move
Y'all in the
y'all do,
chat.
but
Hey, back Nolan up here. I know y'all mix your sides up and all that stuff. It's better that way. It really is. It really is. Yeah, big shout out to my lovely wife for hosting what felt like 30 people, but it was closer to 20. We had 9 kids in the house. My wife bribed them to sleep in until 9 in the morning. She had them all lined up on the couch the night before Thanksgiving. She was negotiating with them. She offered them $2 as a group of like 9 kids to sleep until 9 in the morning. And I said $2, like that's a lot of money. And she's like, oh, each. So then she negotiated against herself. And then the best part was she paid them out. And Friday night, it was such chaos. They had like dropped their money on the ground. So we just scooped the money up and then bribed them again with their own money. You know what I'm saying? So
That's a vet parent move.
that's a vet parent move for sure.
Take advantage
Some
of
people are going to
it.
say, hey, we don't have 250 lying around to pay kids. It's fucking the sleep in time is worth its weight in gold. We got a million because we had a turkey bowl game out here last year, flags and everything, like 3-4 adults and all those damn kids. And last year I played in this game, and I'll never forget. These are all my in-laws' kids, right? And one of the kids was running with the ball, and I was doing the chasing after him, like wide gate, hands out, like obviously not trying to sack the kid or tackle the kid. And he fell down. I'm just trying to grab his flag. He falls down. He's on his back, and he's screaming, "You tackled me!" And he's crying, and he's pointing at me, and it's one of those things where, like, it reminds me of the feeling of when Ben Stiller broke homegirl's nose in the pool.
Yeah.
Eat the parents.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "Fuck her!"
What?
Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel in that situation. Everybody's crowding around. Is he okay? What happened? He tackled me, and I'm like, I didn't tackle him. Like, kid's being a kid.
You would know. Yeah.
Yeah, you would know. And then this year I got into it with a kid because my father-in-law, Joe, who's 70 years old and still got it. I let him play all-time QB on a key possession here. We had to score. It's 4th and goal from like 3 cones out into the field. That's got to be at least 15, 20 yards. And I'm out there in my duck boots toe tapping on these little jokers. He throws me a pearl to the pylon, and I get 2 feet down. It's on film and everything. And I'm celebrating like an asshole for 30 seconds because it was an incredible play. I mean, it just was incredible. And I don't get to catch a lot of touchdown passes. Never did. So I'm hyped. I got kids chasing after me. I look up 10 seconds into my celebration. I got a kid with goggles on chasing me going, "You were on the line!" He's got tears coming down his face. "You cheated!" And, in that situation, maybe the mature thing would be to concede the call. But no, I took him over to the phone. I took him over to the corner of the end zone. I explained the rules. He still wasn't having it. So I told him he was going down to Chinatown. He said, "You're going down to Ohio." I don't even know what that means. So I had a great turkey bowl with the kids and, spent a lot of time. When there's that many people in the house, you got to have an escape plan for you dads out there that like, hey, there's nothing like getting the fuck out of the way, in my opinion, on a holiday. Like a bunch of people in the house is okay with me. I have an RV. I have a solo stove. I set up my solo stove outside. I have my laptop. I was trying to set up YouTube TV to watch we set up I was trying to watch Chicago and Detroit. Game had just kicked. I had my little laptop set up. I have my solo stove raging. Got the fire going. I'm outside. Everybody's inside. Damn YouTube TV. I don't know if y'all have this problem. Trying to verify my location. I'm hitting next. YouTube TV's like, "Hey, we're off for the holidays. Fuck you, buddy. You got to go back inside. Deal with the people." So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get like an iPad or something, switch this thing out. I come back outside to my wife saying, "Hey, your chair was on fire." My camping chair, a gust of wind takes my camping chair into the solo stove. The thing's on fire. She goes, "Yeah, my mom had to put it out." So I got my mother-in-law stomping out my camping chair. I'm like afraid to come back in the damn house because now everybody's going to be like pointing and laughing and busting my balls. And all I want to do is watch the game, like a real outdoorsman you are, Chris. The camping chair is charred, like it's gone. The back of the seat is gone. Supposedly there was almost like I walked back in and she's like, everybody's like, somebody on TV got knocked over and they're like, "It's a lot like your camping chair, huh?" Laughter. I'm like, holy shit. I just wanted to watch the game. Now I'm watching the game inside. Everybody's busting my balls for 5 minutes. My mother-in-law, who's dealing with a wrist injury, she's like, "Yeah, I had to stomp that out. It was pretty risky." I was like, Jesus. The guilt trip on top of it. So just an absolute disaster. I'm setting things on fire. I can't get the game going. Eventually settle in to watch Thanksgiving football. And it looks like at the beginning of this game, it's just going to be a boat race. And I was on the Bears catching 10 points. And I thought, this is what I do every Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving has been getting people for a long time when it comes to gambling in the NFL. I feel like anytime there's a primetime game in general, let alone 3 of them, you're going to make a bad bet. Because the most advantageous thing you have as a gambler is staring at a slate where you have choices on a Sunday. And when the choices are 1, 2, or 3, you're liable to make a bad bet just because. So usually I don't do real well on Thanksgiving, but yesterday I did solid. It ended up being a game where Detroit's inability to finish early almost cost them. It really did. And I kind of wonder, like, as I watched them in the second half, if maybe like they just ran out of gas a little bit. That this team has been so strong through 4 quarters, so consistent, so reliable. And I think back to a couple of those games, not to nitpick, but like, I know they like to finish games. I know like they like to have their starters in and that sort of thing. But like that Jacksonville game, these things eventually catch up to you. Guys taking snaps. You got a lot of injuries coming out of this game. There was a point in this game where Vilder stepped out for a second and Rodriguez was out, and he could be out long term. You got Carlton Davis not out there. Ozarike Pascal just a lot of injuries for this team. And I know they practice physical. I don't know how they practice at this point in the season, but like when they get an opportunity and they're thumping somebody, I know that they like to make a statement, but I would sit some guys in the fourth quarter if you're up 3-4 scores, if I was Detroit, because this team could use a break, right? But it all comes down to the end of the game. And to preface this, I thought in the first half, I mean, there were moments where I was like, when is it in this game that the Bears are going to run more plays than Detroit has points? That didn't come until like the end of the second quarter. And it almost didn't come. And, you know, Jonathan Jones, who works with my brother at CBS, had a great tweet. He said, Shabuzi's going to spend more time out on the field than the Bears offense. And he really almost did.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. In the first half of this game, this is inexcusable. 49 plays for the Lions? That looks like a typo. It really does. And the Bears with 19 plays for most of this half, they were in the single digits. They were afraid. Here's how I looked at this game. The Bears came out and they were just trying to get that first down. The old adage, get that first down on the road, stabilize things, the whole thing. But like the building's on fire, you might have to be a little bit more aggressive. And because of Detroit's inability to finish early in the game, you get into the second half, and Chicago's got a shot. I thought in the second half of this game, Caleb Williams showed what I don't want to say people like me, even though that would be accurate. I don't want to act like I'm a bandwagon Caleb guy. Like he wasn't my favorite guy in the draft. I cautioned against making the move because of this very situation. But here you are, you're a year down in a rookie deal with this guy already. Do I think he can be really good? Absolutely. And we've been saying this consistently as the years worn on, that this guy has got some really innate traits. You know, you talk about like rush avoidance, throwing off platform, his ability to throw in the middle of the field, and then he peppered in some nice go balls, you know, in that game. I mean, the go ball to Moore was great. This is a defense in Detroit that hasn't given up a lot of passing touchdowns. And this guy had, what, 2 or 3 in a second half where he had to have them? Like, there were a lot of big conversions, a lot of big plays in this game.
There was that
very physical game, too.
There was that one on the sideline where he scrambles right, is about to jump out of bounds. He's got 2 guys in his face, and he just kind of lobs it over one of the defenders for 15 yards.
Moore.
Yes.
Yeah, it was DJ Moore.
And speaking of DJ Moore, that guy, it's a roller coaster being DJ Moore. It really is. You know, before the trade deadline with some of his antics, you know, I don't even know if I want to call him antics because I get why he's tired of this shit. But 19 targets, 9 receptions, that is a chaotic day at the office for DJ Moore. When you think about how his day started, it starts with a hospital ball where he almost gets put out of the game. And then he's got to play DB on Terran Arnold, who's going to pick the ball off almost certainly. You get a drop on 3rd and 18 from him. He catches the dime for the touchdown. And then the game really ends with Caleb missing him on a crosser. And here's the thing about a great quarterback and what I expect from a great quarterback. And I think Caleb can be that guy. I really do. There's people in this chat who are doubting him. Hey, I was with you, you know, going into the draft last year. But I've watched the film and I've separated his performance from, and I've taken it with context, the context with which he's performing, in which he's performing. He has looked up and down, but he has certainly shown flashes of a guy who can lead a franchise. And I think for Bears fans, at least we're past the conversation. I don't want to we this because that's not me. That's Kyle Long, my brother, who y'all seem to get confused with me a lot. We, the Bears fans, y'all are waking up this morning and saying, damn, if you're level-headed, which I know many of you are, you're waking up this morning and you're saying, hey, this is a dumpster fire. The coach should get let go. Got a clean house, you know, offensively with the scheme and that sort of thing. Even though Thomas Brown has done a nice job over the last couple games, I do feel for him. I didn't like the feel he had for the game early, but at least you're waking up this morning and saying, hey, Caleb Williams is the guy. You know, there's no thought in my head where it's like, hey, the quarterback is the problem here. The quarterback is probably a solution, but I am not going to parse through the end of this game and leave him out of it, which I've seen a lot of people do. We know Matt Eberflus isn't going to be the guy. We know he's gone at some point, you know, and maybe if it weren't Black Friday, you know, and they want to let him enjoy some time with his family or something, he might not get on the damn bus in a situation like that. I mean, it was awful. But Caleb Williams, who played his ass off in the second half and made some incredible throws, has a hand in the end of this game. Okay? And this isn't me ignoring the Matt Eberflus thing. Again, he is a big part of it, and he probably should be let go, if not this week, very soon in Chicago. You can let him finish the year. I don't know what that accomplishes, honestly. The end of this game was a fireable offense. The end of the Packers game, not great. His record in division, awful. His record in close games, awful. This was all those things. Divisional game, close game, end of game, game management. He botched it. But you know who else botched it? The offense and Caleb Williams. Okay, let's just take you through it. Okay, it's 23-20 with 46 seconds to go. You're at the 25-yard line. Okay, you got 2 timeouts. There is no way in hell that you should not go to overtime at the very least in this game. Even with that kicker who seemed to have problems getting kicks blocked, you're in close enough now where the angle of the kick should not be a problem. Okay? So 1st and 10, that's when you got the big miss to DJ Moore. Arnold's not even close. When they showed the end zone, he's going to score. He's going to score, and you might win this game. So just remember, as we talk about all the mismanagement after this, in which Caleb Williams has a hand as well, that throw ends the game, possibly. Or at least puts your defense on the field defending a touchdown.
Yep.
So that should be the end of the story. And that's where we want Caleb Williams to get in the future. You know what I mean? Because he sprayed a couple balls. He made some wild plays. That's a miss you're going to want back, you know? And so that frames the entire conversation for me. Okay? So you get the big miss on 1st and 10. On 2nd and 10 with 43 seconds to go. You don't get lined up till 4 seconds. You run them in a short motion. Like the quarterback's running a short motion with 4 seconds to go on the play clock. These are the little things to me that if I'm Matt Eberflus, I'm sitting there in bed last night going, yeah, I deserve to be fired, but come on.
Yeah.
You know, like, but come on. Like, we're just making this about me. It is about him. He needs to get fired. But I look at Caleb Williams, too, and it's like, why are we sending somebody in motion with 4 seconds left on the play clock? We got to burn a timeout to avoid a delay of game. Okay, so let's line up for 2nd and 10 again. You get the completion to Allen. You get illegal hands to the face by Jenkins. So far, it's been the quarterback and the offensive line wrecking your last drive. And then you line up for a 2nd and 20. Okay, and this is where things get a little dodgy. This is where you can tell if a team is one well coached and if a quarterback, maybe most importantly, is ready for the moment. And it is the coach's job to get the quarterback ready for the moment. But he, in my opinion, he wasn't quite ready for the moment either. Okay, it's 2nd and 20. And I think interestingly, what people are missing here is they're running a quarterback draw, which is executed terribly. But watching back, I'm not even sure if Caleb's running the quarterback draw. Mm-hmm. Okay, tackle needs to get a piece of that end. No question in my mind. You can see the center climbing to the 2nd level. Now, people are going to say, hey, this is what Caleb said at the end of the game. This is what Matt, you didn't hear this. I've heard it. The quotes after the game don't match up with what happened on the field. It's another reason I don't think we know what's going on as a group. Coach, coordinator, quarterback. No idea what's going on. Okay, so you botch, at least a couple people on the offense, botch that QB draw, which you could call into question the call, but at this point, 36 seconds to go, 1 timeout, you're trying to get into field goal range, right? That's the number one thing. You're behind the sticks. You don't have enough timeouts to work the ball down the field. If you were going to get a first down and go for a score, it probably you couldn't have taken that sack. That sack cemented that we are kind of playing for a field goal. Okay? So you get the 2nd and 20, center climbing, looks like a draw. Some people aren't playing draw. Some people it's a jailbreak. The defensive end's in the backfield. And then what's really interesting is you got 33 seconds. Okay, sacked with 33 seconds. I'm watching Coleman Shelton run up and say, hurry up, hurry the fuck up. And it doesn't feel like Caleb's at this very moment, and maybe he's deferring to the coaches, is saying, hurry the fuck up. Okay, you get 20 seconds on the play clock when I think they get the call. Okay, with 13 seconds, you're lined up and can snap the ball. Now, I know Matt Ryan after the game said, and I would have been fine with this course of action too if it worked out. You take the timeout, right? You take the timeout. Now, if you take the timeout there, you are setting up a 3rd down and extremely long where you've got no timeouts and you're going to rush a field goal operation with that group that has fucked up the end of game sequences. I don't like rushing the field goal operation there. So my course of action would have been, and I still think it was possible to do this, and this is part of why I think maybe the offensive staff, although they should be fired, deserves a little bit of leeway here. Hot take, out on an island on Black Friday. I think with 13 seconds left, you snap the ball and you complete a ball for 6 yards.
Yeah, 100%.
And call a timeout. That, to me, is the course of action.
Yeah.
And so what happens from 20 seconds to 4 seconds where they snap the ball? Inexcusable. Now, I know the coach fucked this up, but again, the players on the field need to get lined up. You got Cole Kmet, and I think Keenan or DJ Moore, they're trying to get lined up. They're not sure where to get lined up. They're like, you be on the ball, you be off the ball. They're all on different fucking pages. And to watch the damn clock tick down like that, you did neither. You could have burnt your time out and then had a tough situation on your hands where you had to complete a ball, preferably out of bounds, but you know defense is going to be playing coverage to funnel you to the middle of the field, right, and force you to then hurry the operation and kick a field goal to tie the game. Not a short field goal either. That's why I vote short completion, timeout, kick a field goal on 4th down. Yeah. And the clock's going to run down in that situation to where Detroit's not going to get the ball back with enough time to really do anything. That's another thing. You know, so in either of those scenarios, you're probably the last one with the ball. I would have taken the scenario where you take a short completion, call a timeout, get your kicker set, and kick the football. But they didn't do either. And I think it falls on the coach and the quarterback. So you sent me this, Nolan. It was Chase Daniel. And I don't know what chat's probably thinking I'm crazy because they read a bunch of other shit that said it was all Eberflus, which it is. He's got to go.
Yeah, Chase Daniel tweeted. He tweeted the transcript from the press conference. Williams explained, "I end up changing the play."
It's crazy.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
It's really hard to reason that, like knowing the situation, knowing the time, and the broadcast had also mentioned Santos' previous career long was 55, so you had to move the ball up anyway. You know, like you had to
move the ball up.
So yeah, the press conference was really interesting. Initially, it seems like he knew they had a timeout, but then he's also trying to change the play. And then, then later on, he says, "We got lined up, got the play. I made an adjustment. I saw the clock running down." So it continues to exacerbate the total disarray they were in at that phase of the game.
And so that's my point is like, I know, and it's so fucking funny. And I see you at home, how everybody changes their narrative to suit whatever the week is. Be consistent. Okay. Caleb, 2 things. Hey, you know what? 2 things are not mutually exclusive here. Caleb proved that he's the guy in a big spot and also struggled in end of game management. In a shitty situation where the coaches put him presumably in a bad spot. You know, like, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what conversations were had short of that second down. Hey, got to have a second play here. I don't know if the draw was the right call because obviously your team wasn't ready to execute it.
Right.
I'm not sure if the quarterback executed the draw. I don't know if the quarterback knew it was a draw. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in second and 10 20. Or whatever it was, 2nd and 20. But to me, everybody has egg on their face.
Yeah.
Everybody has egg on their face. And so, you know, when you come up after the game and say, I changed the play and all this stuff, and like, this is going to get ugly here. It already is. It feels to me like a locker room that's been over this guy for a while. And now this is their opportunity to just bury him. And it's one of those things where everybody knows this feeling when you're wrong, but you're not that wrong. You're like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, player. The quarterback changed thank you. The quarterback changed the play.
Yeah.
We could have snapped the ball with 14 seconds and hit an in cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the coach should be fired, but like his eulogy should read a little differently. If they're going to fire him and say, hey, he alone botched the end of game situation on Thanksgiving and gave Detroit its first win since 2016 on Thanksgiving, and that's the fireable offense, there should be some small print that says the quarterback and the offense wasn't ready. They weren't ready for the moment. The players have to make plays on the field.
It's like we talked about the QB there. We talked about the coaching staff. And then the other thing that was just stunning to watch is as they're lining up for that play, it looked like there was confusion between Kmet and Moore as to who's to be on the ball. And
that's what I'm saying.
Time there too. And it's like what is going on? Like literally, like when you say nobody has any idea what's going on, it's across the board. Like just across
so my
the board.
point is for the people that, hey, listen, I know there's some people that are probably listening to this being like, how are you going to blame? I'm not blaming Caleb. I'm saying blame goes around on that team at the end of that game, including the quarterback. And we can't ask these things of Caleb Williams. And I'm asking these things of Caleb Williams. I see what he has in his body and in his mind. He's capable of being a franchise quarterback. I think you have your guy. But that's the standard. The standard is being able to manage an end-of-game situation like that from the head coach and from the quarterback. And quarterback can't control the shit show that he walked into in Chicago this year. You know, I don't even think anybody knew how big a shit show it was, even though the signs were all there. But these two things are not mutually exclusive. Caleb and Eberflus botched the end of this game. Changed the play with 13 seconds to go. Snap the ball. Hit a fucking in cut. My brother in Christ. Just hit an in cut. And let's put it on the kicker. Then everybody's talking about the kicker. Like, that's a lot easier. It happens every week. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn special teams. Instead, I'm doing this. Thank God, though, because I barely have anything to talk about. These games were so crappy. In all honesty, as a media member, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, well, there's a big paragraph at the beginning of the day that we can talk about. It's theater, dude. The NFL is theater. You know why the NFL is so damn popular? Because mismanagement and botched shit still plays. It's like theater. You will never forget where you were. I was inside watching smoke billow off my lawn chair, probably. Surrounded by kids. These kids climbing all over me. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Could not believe it. And it still plays. They shoveled us Cooper Rush and some combination of DeVito, Drew Lock. By the time I turned the game on in the first quarter, Lock was in the game or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what happened. That was a game that we all just ignored for the most part. And the ratings still were probably incredible.
Yeah, everybody ate dinner during that game.
But guess what? It's still on.
It's still on in the background, but that's when you're focused on your turkey and your mashed potatoes.
This is how sick I am. We had moved the table so that it was like kind of like parallel to the wall and towards the wall with the TV, and I had to swivel the TV out. I was sitting at the head of the table. I was like, might as well. I walked over the TV. I was like, might as well swivel it, just to have it on in the background. Oh, boy. And do they know how to tug at the heartstrings? I want to finish this Detroit game in a second. But that Apple commercial with the daughter and the dad, I mean, I just started being a girl dad, and I was trying not to use that damn hashtag and all that. But, like, that Apple commercial, I looked around the room and, like, people are like, oh, my allergies. The irony is Apple's selling a product that's going to distance you from your kids. The fucking phone. That's all we do now is stare at our phones. We don't even hang out with our kids. Thank you very much, Apple. Thanks for the touching commercial. Now, can you guys just keep your fucking charger situation consistent for more than 2 years? How about that?
Yeah.
How about do that? They have you. You're stuck, and you're watching Cowboys and Giants, and the Thanksgiving Day parade. So corporate now. Everything's got a sponsor. We're all just consumers, right? But I'm back in the chow line. I watched all 3 of these games. Before we get to Dallas and the Giants, Zadarius Smith showed up big in this game. This is an immediate impact signing that they absolutely needed. Not just with the issues they've had with injuries, like all over the place, but like you need rushers, and they really are thin there. DJ Reader was great. So again, Brad Holmes, free agency. Hey, we'll take a shot on a guy who had a knee injury. Basically, what was his quad? His quad tendon or whatever it was, like late last year. It was like a long injury for a big guy who's probably on the wrong side of 30. Yeah. And they bring him in like, yeah, he should help us. You're damn right he helped you. Big division. I mean, like, this game for people at home is like, it's the Lions against the Bears. Like, the Lions can afford to lose this game. No, they can't. Playing for home field advantage, man. Eagles are right behind you. Packers are right behind you. Playing pretty good ball. So these plays are huge. For DJ Reader to play this way, a couple sacks, 3 hits, 2 tackles for loss. Zadarius Smith, 10 pressures. Like, you can tell. And they use him as a floater. That's one thing they really like about him. Now, if they get Hutch back at some point, and we're talking about like Super Bowl or whatever, or let's say they were on the field together, those are 2 guys you can move around. One of the things I like the best about Hutch is how he moves up and down the line. Okay? Same thing with Zadarius Smith. I watched Zadarius Smith last week as a floater beating Quentin Nelson multiple times over the guard. He won with spin moves in this game over the guard, over the tackle. He really is going to make a difference. And when he had to come out for a second, one of their young guys made a play. So the pass rush stepped up for Detroit for sure. And one thing I wanted to say about Caleb Williams more, again, I got to qualify everything, because I know it's like talking politics, like talking ticks to some of y'all. But I saw this on Reddit. Okay, I want to give this credit to Sodak Zach at Reddit. 33 yards lost today brings his season total up to 331 yards. That projects him to 469 yards for the season, which would be 4th all time. We're talking about sack yardage lost. So, like, rookie records 477 with Bryce Young. He has taken some bad sacks. It is a guy that you can get bucket. That's one thing he's probably got to get squared away before next year. Like, because this team's going to be in the mix with a quarterback like this. If I'm nitpicking, there's a couple of these late drives where he'll take a little too much time back there, drift a little too much. When you watch Mahomes, and again, we'll come back to this comparison, he does the same thing. The pocket doesn't exist, which can exacerbate sometimes the offensive line troubles. Like, it's really hard to block for Patrick Mahomes at tackle because you don't know where he's going to be. Half of the deal with tackle is you got to funnel a rusher by knowing a drop target. It could be 9, it could be 11, it could be 12, it could be 13 and over there. It could be 10 and this way. If you're blocking for Patrick Mahomes, that can be tough. But Caleb Williams, has got to realize the types of games he's in, and when to take these chances. But rushing him has been – you're always going to have a shot. That's kind of trade-off. Like, I used to love rushing Russell Wilson because he was going to bail. He was going to extend. Now, the flip side is young Russell Wilson, he'd duck under you and you'd miss him. You know, he'd do some magician-type stuff. You know, obviously, Lamar Jackson. If I was a rusher, I'd be excited to play Lamar on one hand, and on the other hand, I'd be like, man, am I going to miss 3 of them? You know, and I think Caleb's got that play extension where it's a fine line to walk, knowing when to and when not to. And I think the last thing I want to shout out on Detroit's side of the football is Jack Fox. This guy sits there forever. You know, we were trying to look this up. I don't know how many 3-and-outs that the Lions have this year, but I get a sense that they don't go 3-and-out a lot. Like, I don't know where to rank them. I think that's part of the reason why they're so damn good, which seems obvious. Like, hey, the offense scores a lot of points. The defense has kept the points down. Yeah, generally. But one of the reasons that they're so damn good is they always give that defense a break. You know, and they always put pressure on the other team from a field position standpoint and from a time possession standpoint. And another thing with this team is, like, I had a coach that used to say, hey, runs plus completions. You know, like, that's a huge metric for if a team's going to be successful. They don't incomplete a lot of balls. You know, not a lot of balls hit the turf, and they're going to run the football. And we've talked at length about their running backs. One more reminder, Jahmyr Gibbs. That guy got a bunch of D and F mock draft grades. I went back and read them. It's crazy. But again, we look around the league, and this team we're about to talk about in a second, the Green Bay Packers, they're another team like this, but they added the piece. Running back, the position of running back's not dead. It's not dead if you know when to do it. It would have been pointless for a lot of teams a few years back to go out and get Christian McCaffrey. Not pointless for San Francisco to go get him. You know, it's a luxury. What would the point of Vegas holding on to Josh Jacobs be? Would they be good? Don't have the quarterback. Don't have a lot of the depth at positions. Don't have really the firepower just yet. Devontae Adams might have been happier, but for how long? With Gardner Minshew throwing him the ball. Same thing with Saquon Barkley. We make New York to be the biggest villains in the world because they treated Saquon poorly. They actually did him a favor. They did him a big favor. They let that man fly. You know? Seriously. These teams are giving a gift to the game of football fans. Same thing with Derrick Henry. You think it would have been – how much Derrick Henry you think you would have seen this year with Will Levis handing him the ball? They might be better. How much better? So the point is, these running backs in the right situations are still game changers. And, you know, same thing with Detroit, going out and picking up David Montgomery and drafting Jahmyr Gibbs the same offseason, right? I mean, that to me is like, that's chess. You know, other people are looking at that like, it's dumb. No, it's not. Look at all the best teams in the league right now. Look at all the best teams in the NFC. Detroit, Philly, Green Bay, they've all invested in that position. So I know things are cyclical in the NFL, and, you know, sometimes the trends come back, but like definitely running back, important position, important for the damn Lions, and you know, runs plus completions. You got a quarterback that's not letting the ball hit the turf.
Right.
So their thing is going to be just to not let the attrition get to them. And to me, one more time, if I were Dan Campbell and I'm beating the brakes off of somebody, you know, next week or the week after, I'm going to get – and I don't know what he's going to do week 18. Knowing him, even if he doesn't have to, his guys are going to play. I'm all for that, guys playing, but steal the rest when you can. I think it's more important to play week 18 than it is for guys to play in the fourth quarter of blowouts. You know? So, anyways, let's talk about the night game, and then we'll get back to, because, you know, it's an easy jump from from Detroit to the Packers winning. Packers quietly, not so quietly last night, but quietly creeping up into the NFL elites. Like, I think there was so much up and down early in the season, obviously because of the injury. And even though they stuck the landing on all that, I think one of the things that marred them early in the season was Jordan Love's propensity to throw picks off a year where he looked like a guy who doesn't. And guess what? It's the ebb and flow of the NFL. It's a second-year quarterback, and it's not just your arm that you rely on to make these throws. You rely on your knee. You rely on your groin. And when the dude got hurt the first game of the season, first off, I thought the damn thing popped. Luckily, it didn't. But the next thing I thought was if they rush him back, and it felt like they did a little bit, even though they got really good spot starts from Malik, he was going to have some referral injuries, some issues where, all of a sudden, and as an athlete, you know this, one thing's hurt. As you try to return to play, something else is gonna creep up on you. And for him, it was the groin. I used to have a lot of groin problems. Like, I know what that's like, and I can only imagine trying to throw the football with a groin, a knee, and throw it accurately. I thought the turnover stuff was what kept people from really buying into this team early in the season. Like, oh, well, Jordan's regressed the mean. And maybe this run he's on now is somewhat of the opposite. He's going to play well for a little bit, and then he's going to come back to the middle a little bit. But I think this is more who he is than what we saw earlier in the year. I can explain those circumstances. What he's done lately has been really impressive. And what he did last night out there in the 20-degree weather, that didn't affect him. And that's pretty damn impressive for a kid and affirming for a guy that's supposed to play a lot of those games. One of the things you're supposed to be if you're the Green Bay Packers is good in the cold. What good is that home field advantage? And I hope Lambeau Field never puts a damn roof. They won't,
Ever.
right? Ever.
They can't.
That's the one loophole we have. 2050, in some dystopian future, we're all going to be sitting there on Black Friday. There's going to be Amazon drones zooming around our living rooms. The kids are going to have like fucking phone helmets. My chair's still going to be on fire out in the yard. It's going to be chaos. It's not going to be a world you want to live in, but there will be one grass field left. That will be Lambeau Field. And boy, getting to visit that place, Cowboy Reed, in preseason made me appreciate it even more. I used to not have it as one of my favorite stadiums because I broke my leg there, and I think it fucked up my whole vibe.
Right.
And the cart situation at that stadium sucks. Okay, like that's the longest cart ride like in the NFL. It's like everything about that stadium is 1950. Like they have definitely updated it, and it's really nice and clean and state of the art. But like it's like an old city where like my hometown is Charlottesville. Like I call it Carlotsville because the traffic is brutal. The roads, they didn't lay the city out right for this many people. Same thing with Lambeau. That cart just takes a while to get up there. That's my only gripe with the place.
The cool thing in Lambeau, there was a video of this yesterday, but about 50 yards from the entrances are homes, people's houses. And you saw a video of it yesterday. Yeah. This guy opening his garage at night while the game was going on, and you could hear like front row seat to the fucking outside of the stadium. It's just there. And it like
dude,
all lit up.
Incredible.
It's so cool. And like you said, being there, my first thought was immediately like, "Oh, yo, saw that house. I know where that is."
Yeah, yeah, dude. And it kind of, I don't know what you would liken it to, but like buying a piece of property, they're like, "Hey, for 8 days a year, this is gonna be the best place in the world."
Oh,
but
yeah.
the other 357 days of the year, it's Wisconsin.
Do you think that
there's nothing against Wisconsin, but the delta between how it feels to wake up on game day in Green Bay and how it feels to wake up every other day in Green Bay has to be insane.
Yeah.
Like I would put that up against almost any place. The gap between peak living in Green Bay and then like most other days.
Do you think Green Bay people who live in Green Bayites, do you think they put hollandaise sauce on their turkey?
Dude, it is out of control with the hollandaise sauce up there. But let me get back to Let me get back to the stadium. I love the stadium. I hope that as the NFL slowly takes away all outdoor football, that this one stays. I know it will. But if you're a Packers team, that's the one thing you got to be good at. You got to be good at playing in the cold, taking advantage of that home field advantage. They've got the run game for it. I mean, whether Jacobs in the game or not, this team is built to run the football, and Jacobs is a damn difference maker. They were gashing these guys. Miami couldn't tackle them. Miami didn't get off the bus, dude. And then Tua said he's going to kill narratives. Okay? No, you didn't. It's alive. The narrative is alive and well. And here's the thing, like, I'm so tired of this team, and I knew this was going to happen. I am so tired of this football team. I used to just not like them because their fans would be in my fucking ear about every Tua take as if I hated the guy. Now I'm just tired of your team. Just tired of your team. Stop saying what you're going to do. Stop, that. Stop, Mike. Stop taunting Max Crosby when he jumps off sides. Like, it's not cute. The tuxedos aren't cute anymore. Tuxedos aren't funny anymore.
You said
go ahead.
You said the Packers just were more physical. They forced 20 missed tackles last night. Jacobs had 10 alone.
Yeah, dude, he's a beast. But, when you've got Jordan Brooks who just got there, I got news for you, buddy. This has been going on a while. I know sometimes when you're in the NFL, you look around and you don't watch the other games a lot, but I don't know if this was a shock to him, but he called his team soft. Now, I'm not calling the team soft, okay? But what I am calling them is unserious. They're unserious. It's just an unserious football team.
Yeah.
Hey, you play bad teams, you run them out of the building. Yeah, but you play a team like Green Bay, it's like you're not ready. They get off the bus, They muff a punt, they give up a score. First play of the game offensively, you got a penalty, you end up with 3rd and 29 on the first damn possession. Okay, you go down 14-0. Oh, 4th and 4, let's go for it. Oh, fuck, a penalty. So then you got to trot the kicker out there. Green Bay bails them out because they had their fair share. And they convert, but they get in the red zone. And you know what they do when they get in the red zone? They just run screens. So then they got a kick. They're backed up the next possession. They're 1st and 20. They take 2 sacks. They punt 21-3. Unserious.
Yeah.
They get a chance for a 2-for-1 at the end of the game. At the end of the half, this was the last gasp. Tua throws it 3 Tyreeks in the air. He threw the ball to Udonis Haslam. Okay? I don't bro, the team is unserious. I just don't want to hear about them until they get their shit together. We ride this wave all the time, dude. I'm sorry. You're like, oh, you hate the team. I'm annoyed at this point. Just annoyed because you know what? This looked like since Tua got back, and we said he was playing some of his best ball. But we wanted to see what happened in a big situation. And Tua is not the only problem here. And last night you could argue that Tua is not the problem, even though he missed some big throws. At some point, Dolphins fans, you're going to have to be, we're really good statistically. We're a great statistical football team. We can cherry pick stats, and we will impress you with those stats. But turn the game on. Watch the big games. It's like they don't show up. 10-plus penalties, missed tackles. Jason Garrett called Tua Magic Johnson last night. Magic Johnson averaged more than 17 points a game, Jason. For fuck's sake. I'm not even mad. I was on the Packers. You would think I lost a bet but I'm just tired of this it's unserious. You got a chance to go on a run here. The team's played good football lately. Talking about, I'm going to kill narratives. I'm going to kill narratives.
Mhm.
What narratives did you kill? Packers.
Nothing.
2 weeks ago, 27th in the red zone. Since then, they've scored touchdowns on 9 straight drives in the red zone. Started on a game-winning Chicago drive, then went 5 of 5 in the red zone against San Francisco. Ripped 3 straight off in this game. That streak ended with that circus throw to Reed. Love scramble in the third quarter. I mean, like, it didn't even feel like they got made to get off the field. I was like, damn, that was cool.
Yeah.
So, like, what we're seeing is Jordan Love settling into a rhythm. We're seeing big throws. We're seeing Josh Jacobs wear people down. I mean, he is one of the best backs in the game. We're seeing a young pass rush for Green Bay come alive a little bit. You know, when you trade Preston Smith, I know the scheme fit wasn't perfect, but to me that just signals, like, among other things, like a changing of the guard. Like, okay, Lucas Van Ness, we need you now. Enigbare, who has been balling out this year, Cox, those guys all got buckets last night. And so, listen, again, you can tell I'm annoyed. It's just I'm annoyed at how long I've been saying this and had to argue with people. The Dolphins are unserious.
Yeah.
I don't know what they have to do to be serious. But it's like the same damn thing every time. Play a good team, play in the cold, play in prime time. It's about 17 points a game. So you can razzle-dazzle me with all the stats you want. You got to win big football games. You got to go play in the cold, man. McDaniels had a T-shirt that said, "I wish it was colder."
Oh my gosh.
Somebody in the chat said that. Can you confirm that? I mean, are you fucking serious, dude? Tell me I'm getting punked.
Well, I'm saying it looks like it was from a year ago.
Yeah.
From a year ago. Well, the thing about them reading the room, they're the Ray Charles of reading the room. They really are. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had that shirt on this week.
Yeah.
You know, at 4 and whatever, 5 and whatever. Seriously. Like, before a game like that, instead of saying, I'm going to go kill narratives, like, maybe say nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always an option. Just say nothing.
Why does he do it to himself? You know? Like,
just say nothing. Say nothing and go play the game. Win one of them. Okay?
Right.
So, I think Tua's played great since he came back. Not last night. He played solid last night. I think he missed some big throws, which is part of, like, the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem is the Dolphins as an organization have just taken on this unserious form, and they can't. I don't know. It sucks because they look good in those damn uniforms.
I was about to ask, what'd you think of those? Were you high on the Dolphins uniforms?
Oh, they look so amazing, dude.
Beautiful.
They look so amazing.
The only problem, and you might have noticed this, was the numbers on the front. It had white it was Tyreek's jersey, for instance. He was 10. They had white in the middle of the 0, on the inside of the 0, but the shoulder pad, it was all orange on the inside. Yeah. It looked a little backwards.
Yeah, a little backwards, but I just want to say this: the Alec Ingold thing really that was another heartstring thing on Thanksgiving, like, for real. I was watching him play with those kids at the foster home, and I was just like, man, like, watching those kids smile. That's the thing, okay? I know we're getting up here and we're shitting on teams, and I'm mad at Eberflus, and it's Caleb Williams' fault too, and Dolphins are unserious, but, like, these guys are all out there doing the best they can, and they've all got stories, and, you think about what you're thankful for somebody like Alec Ingold to come home to Green Bay and play in front of that crowd. Like, I know that the game sucked, and, you lose that game, but there are a lot of amazing stories, and a lot of guys are miracles. I mean, they really are out there on the field. And so just wanted to shout out Alec Ingold, because that dude you just tell he's all class, and he's been through a lot. And it's certainly a perspective that I would have a hard time understanding, and you can tell he gives back. So I was just in the middle of all that. I was touched by that. So not saying all the players are bad guys. They're not like, we're doing this. This is sports. Okay. There's a lot of good, hardworking men out on that field, but the team is unserious. Unserious. Okay. How many times can I say that word about this team?
Okay. Their playoff chances took a big hit too. With that loss, they were trying to creep up right behind the Colts, and now they're down to 12% playoff probability.
Jeez. Okay. Well, that's higher than Dallas's, who after the game, Michael Parsons told me, like, it was like, you're saying there's a chance. I was looking up things that there's 4% chance of. I suppose I worry about shit happening that's 4%, I suppose it could happen, I watched Jay Williams. They said a half-court shot is 4%. I think it must be higher, dude. I think it's got to be higher.
Yeah.
I watched Jay Williams hit a half-court shot next to me. I'm constantly reminded of that. It's on the ESPN feed all the time. Like me airballing a fucking half-court shot, like that's a bad thing. Like I had a 96% chance of missing that shot. But what is 4%? That's Dallas's chance to get in the playoffs. Hey, I can't be mad at Dallas for busting their ass to try to get a win on Thanksgiving. Like, come on. And saying after the game, we're not going to quit. Good for y'all. That's how you should be. You know what I mean? I played on a lot of teams where we had less than 4% chance, and it was our job to go out there and play our asses off. And the Dallas Cowboys came to play yesterday, albeit against the Giants. Defense is starting to look a little bit healthier, better. Probably takes time to get Zimmer's scheme down, but all in all, I don't think so. I don't think so. It would take so much. Bengals, Bucks, Eagles, Panthers, Commies left. What do they got to win out, basically?
Yeah.
Oh, I would assume so.
With some help.
The Bengals are in a zone that the Cowboys wish they were in. You know what I mean? Like, just to put it in perspective. Like, Cowboys have no margin for error. And I just want to say this. Overshown's going to be a star. He's going to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
We've said this all year. Watching him make a play like that, there's just some guys that have a nose for the ball. Like, there's really good football players, and there's really good, like, I don't know what the word would be, athletes. Football players and athletes. Like, I was a really good football player, wasn't a great athlete. Okay, so you weren't going to see me make a play like that. Okay, there are guys that I used to watch, and I was envious of them. Just the way they didn't think about it. They just fucking went up, tipped the ball to themselves. Like, you watch Hutchinson, the way he makes plays on the ball. You watch TJ Watt, the way he makes plays on the ball. This is a guy that you can play off the ball. You can blitz him. He's a plus as a blitzer. He knocked the shit out of that running back, comes up, makes a play with his hands. Like, then he's got the wherewithal to actually catch it. Just because you can tackle guys and you can play blocks and shed blocks doesn't mean you can make plays like that. This guy is going to be just a stud. And so Cowboys fans, on a day where you're stuck watching, it's the Dowdle Lock Rush Bowl. Say no more. Okay? But there's reason to be excited about the future defensively in Dallas with that guy on the field. I don't want to overhype him. I don't want to glaze him. I don't want to glaze him like Brady glazed McCarthy last night. That was kind of out of left field. I was kind of like, what is he doing here with this? And then he was coming at Daniel Jones for asking for his release. I'm like, Tom, do you see what's going on the football field here? Have you watched the Giants? Like, anyways, just a bad football team. And I feel for Dexter Lawrence. I feel for Dexter Lawrence because guy's got 9 sacks, dislocates his elbow. He's got a chance. He was in Defensive Player of the Year running for a little bit. We were talking about him that way. But more than anything, I just wanted to see him get double digits, man. That's a big deal for us. And he hasn't had it yet, but as a tackle, he's still dominant. It's just even harder for a tackle to get there and get double digits. I don't know if he's going to be out for the season or what, but there's really not a lot of – if I'm Dexter Lawrence, and this would be my advice to any player I played hurt on some bad teams, and it definitely altered the trajectory of my career. Just be careful. Just be careful out there, guys. There's a time to shoot things up and wrap them up and put bad tape out, but now ain't the time. As Dr. Fax would say, get ready for Mykonos, my boy. Get that elbow right, and big sexy Dexy wearing white linen on the beach in Mykonos. All right, bro, you're almost there. You don't need to risk it. So anyways. Oh, Matt. Oh, shoot. I'm just seeing this in the damn chat. Malcolm Rodriguez tore his ACL.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, man. Do you think Anzalone's going to come back here? Who do they have the rest of the season?
The rest of the way.
Don't you worry, bro. I'm on it.
So
I'm like an octopus.
Week from last night, they'll get the Packers at home. That's going to be a big
trouble
one.
with the Packers.
Yep. And then
with that linebacking
core. Good.
No, but you're right. Like Packers, Bills, even the Niners, if the Niners get healthy.
Yeah.
Like your linebacking core is important in today's NFL. Very important. And without Malcolm Rodriguez, you're going to have a bunch of guys having to play meaningful snaps who have not been. And Anzalone's going to come back at some point. But until that moment, these are the kind of, little attrition injuries that can be the difference between home field and not, which can be the difference between the whole thing and not. So the Lions are banged up. That's definitely something we gotta keep our eye on. Killing narratives.
Black Friday.
I'm going to kill a narrative and be done with this podcast before an hour and a half, okay?
And before we hit Black Friday,
fuck your narratives.
We wanna shout out our BetMGM amigos.
Yeah, shout out to BetMGM. Let me I was gonna open the ad read, but I can do it off memory because I love BetMGM so much. As you know, we've teamed up with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all our picks, and we'll have special offers for you listeners each week. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Number one, download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Number two, deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. Number three, you'll receive up to a $1,500 bonus bet if your bet loses. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up. Am I square on that one, Cowboy?
You're square. Hey, you nailed it. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, right. Off dome. All right.
Off the dome. And
I love the way you're working that soundboard, brother.
That's Tanner. Shout out Tanner back there. He grabbed that soundboard. You walked out of the studio the other day, and he grabbed that soundboard. He's like, "I'm putting it right here for me on Friday." He wasn't letting anybody else touch it.
Hey, Tanner. Here's what I need because.
Hit me.
I went to Lane's house the other night. I stopped by Lane Johnson's house when I got into Philly to do Inside the NFL. Sometimes I go see my boy. And just relaxed for a little bit and watched it's the guy that imitates Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
And then Dr. Phil, is it Kill Tony?
Yeah, it's what is his name? Hold up.
It doesn't matter. Because it's so damn funny.
Adam
I don't know
Ray.
where you find it. Adam Ray.
Yeah.
Like Lane was like, son, we need to watch this.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. He's trying to describe it. Then I'm watching Adam Ray do a stand up as Dr. Phil, like just bunch of crowd work and Then Dr. Phil walks in.
Yeah.
And it is solid fucking gold. And so what I was thinking was, I got
a few on here already. Ready, waiting for you.
We'll keep it right here.
Oh!
We'll be right back.
And then I got some actual Dr. Phil ones too.
You're high now. You uneducated moron. Answer the question.
Thank you so much, bro. This is the best thing that's happened to me this day.
I got another one I think you'll really like too in here. Reed gave me this one.
We'll be right back.
Let the boy watch.
What? Ah, he's got the soundboard.
I can feel it down my plums.
It's so good, man. You're really populating that thing with all my faves.
Yeah, I spent a whole day on it the other day. It was my whole day of work.
So that was my whole thing. I was like, bro, as soon as I watched that thing, I was like, I need as many Dr. Phils. How could I forget? We'll be right back.
We'll be right
Dr.
back.
Phil, bro. Do you know Dr. Phil played football?
Really?
No.
In college?
Where at?
I think.
Tulsa. Linebacker
Tulsa.
for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
Can we get a Dr. Phil roster? Dr.
Yeah.
Phil Tulsa. He recalls his time as a linebacker for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. The Hurricane. He was a backer. I spent a lot of time in that stadium and not always on the field, he said. Does that mean he didn't play a lot? I doubt it. I think he was talking about maybe running stadium steps. But Dr. Phil, just maybe we get him on the show one time.
A 6'4".
I wouldn't even recognize Dr. Phil. You got to look back at the pictures.
He was on the team that lost 100-6 to Houston.
Holy shit.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
That's crazy.
Damn, Phil. Damn, Doc.
Was he bald when he was playing college football too? I bet
that
he had
hairline
the
was
same.
creeping back.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, he looks good for his age because those pictures in college, it kind of looks like he was at risk of getting drafted. You know what I mean? It looks pretty a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, for sure was, actually. What year did he I'm talking about trench warfare. That's how old these pictures look.
1968 was
Yeah.
he was a middle linebacker there. So I think that was
Could have gone to Nam. Yeah. All right. So here's the deal. We got some games this weekend. Starts with today, Black Friday. Listen, could it be a better game? Absolutely. Do I want to watch Aiden O'Connell play football today? Probably not. But I am in the chow line. Heavy, dude. There's nothing like, and everybody's leaving. The house is empty. Not to say I didn't love having a bunch of people in the house, but a quiet day, kind of overcast, get the fire going inside this time. And watch Patrick Mahomes, hopefully. I mean, he's on the Kermit Revenge Tour. Don't forget about that thing, okay? And he can get him as bad as he wanted to the first game. 27-20 Chiefs. That's the last game I think the Raiders played in a tighter ball game. And who's the last team to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead? Aiden O'Connell. Barva. You going to light my camping chair on fire? If you know, you know. But, nah. Just like worst team in the league against the best team in the league. Let's change the narrative. That's what Antonio Pierce said. And I think a lot of people probably saw that quote, was like, damn, did he just call his team the worst team in the league? I sort of did. But I think what he meant was like, that's what people are saying, right? You know, and when you read that quote, it reads one way. But if you're standing in front of the team and saying, hey, that's what they're saying, guys. Worst team in the league against the best team in the league. Let's change the narrative. He's saying, you got nothing to lose, which would be a little bit softer of a way to put it. But I don't think they're the worst team in the league. No. Who's the worst team in the league? Can't say the Panthers anymore after what I saw last week.
I'd say the team in Duval County.
I was in the group chat. I was in my group chat last night. Some guy was talking about all Bama quarterbacks are, you know, yada, yada. Well, not to mention, I take issue. The issue that I take, on top of the issue that I take, is the issue I take there is Jalen Hurts. But the issue I also take is Bryce Young. And I said, you must not have seen Bryce Young shredding Kansas City. And the guy sent me back a chat GPT-ass response. He was like, shredded him. He sent me a stat line from last week. I said, you need to go watch that game. The Panthers, they're back, bro. Bryce looks pretty good. Who's the worst team in the league? Is it the Giants?
Giants are the first team to be eliminated this season.
Yeah, you got officially eliminated. The Giants have earned that. Okay, I'm going to plug my computer in because we're going to power on here. But the Giants have earned that title, I think, as the worst team in the league. The Giants are so bad.
A race against time here.
Daniel Jones is too good to be a Giant. So, anyways, I got my computer plugged in now. But this is going to be an interesting game for the Chiefs because Mahomes said it last week. Yeah, we like close games. We like winning close games. It's good for us, right? You know, it builds muscle, so to speak. Like a team, it's like working out for a team. It's like good. It's good to get those reps, right? Like, but you got to take some days off where you're not straining for 4 quarters. I think what he's saying is, I'm tired of this shit. It was fun in the beginning to win close games, but like I've been doing it for 2 years for different reasons almost every time and from year to year. I think this is a game that they want to go blow these guys out. I think after last year, after the Kermit the Frog thing, I hope for their sake that they can just run roughshod over these guys. If we get a close game, it's better for the captive audience that has to watch these two teams. But I think for the Chiefs, if you're talking about this in a serious manner, like they have to come out and impose their will. Like they need a blowout win. You know, I hate to put it that way, like it's that important to blow teams out, but I think for them today it probably is. Last year's game where they lost to the Raiders at home, they threw a pick six, gave up a scoop and score, and missed a field goal in the first half. They beat themselves. The Raiders were happy to help them. They came to play. I got a lot of respect for Antonio. I think Brock Bowers is going to be tough to deal with. I think Max Crosby is always tough to get a hat on, or 2 hats on, or 3 hats on. I cannot wait to see the cat and mouse game between Max and Pat. It has quickly become one of my favorite rusher quarterback rivalries. I don't know if there's a better rusher quarterback rivalry in the NFL, and the two teams aren't close, but it's just the way. You got a guy that extends plays, that tries to make magic happen. You got a guy that never quits on a play, that can make magic happen rushing. You know, and he is outright with his. I mean, he respects the hell out of Patrick Mahomes and probably thinks the world of him, but like, I'm gonna try to fucking kill you. Like that's the attitude this guy has, and I think that's gonna be enough for me to watch this game for 3 hours. But
do you think
Pacheco, Omenahu, go ahead.
Do you think Max Crosby calls Mahomes a little ass boy, like he does other quarterbacks?
I think you got to be careful calling Mahomes a little ass boy.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, that you can't call anybody that sounds like they smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day a little ass boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I think having Omenahu back, like from a macro standpoint, gonna be super interesting to see where he is. Same thing with Pacheco. Like the Pacheco thing could be the reason they run away with this game. Mm-hmm. They could. I know Kareem Hunt's been really good, but that guy was a huge part of the offense. And Omenahu adding to a group up front that has not gotten a lot of pressure. Again, like I feel like last week, yeah, you were going to check Bryce Young's chin and like blitz him. But I think part of that also comes from, hey, I'm not sure these guys can win one-on-ones. Spags is going to turn the dial up anyways. But the difference between the dial being all the way here and like here, that can make a big difference in how you call a game. And the thing that can allow you to do that and take the foot off the gas pedal could be the introduction of one rusher. So I'm hopeful to see that Omenahu's healthy because he can help them a lot down the stretch. And the Chiefs down another kicker.
Yep.
Okay. So Black Friday, they go out and get a discount kicker. His name is Matthew Wright. Don't know where they found him. You certainly hope he's not kicking with the game on the line. That's another reason I think you see the Kansas City being really aggressive.
Yeah,
I would imagine they're really aggressive in this game.
Matthew Wright was on the Steelers for Cant this season, was on the 49ers, and now is on the Chiefs. All this season.
And I see this, folks in chat rightfully so saying dangerous game. It is a dangerous game. And I think, what's at stake for the Chiefs every time they take the field now? I mean, let's look at the AFC standings. I'll tell you what's at stake.
The
Bills. The Bills are one game behind them. The Steelers are obviously 2 games behind them. But there's also still a universe. If they lose this game, if Chiefs lose this game, then the Chargers' ears perk up a little bit. And they're like, well.
And after this one, you got the Chargers, you got the Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos. It's a tough stretch through the rest of the season.
It's a lot of muddy games.
Mm-hmm.
These are the muddy ass games that can be a little bit of struggles for the Chiefs. I don't mean the Raiders game. I tend to think they roll today. I think.
Yeah.
But who knows? This is a tough one. Big line from a team that doesn't cover big lines.
Mm-hmm.
But yet Vegas knows that, and they're hanging it out there. And I'm probably figuring most people are going to take all those points.
Yeah.
Especially when you're chasing, right? I think here's an interesting theory I have. The Black Friday game is genius for Vegas because most people lose on Thanksgiving. I'm convinced of that. So what do you do on Friday? You chase. I bet you there's some real out of character wagers being placed from today until the end of week 13. There's a ton of opportunities to lose your ass on a Thursday. Guy said, he kicked for the 49ers week 6. He'll be fine. Yeah. He'll be fine. I love that. He'll be fine. The guy should be fine. What's the weather in Kansas City today?
Weather in Kansas City.
I'm seeing cold and dry.
Yep. It'll be 36 degrees at kickoff.
36. Any wind? You guys give me half the fucking forecast. Who would have thought it was hard to be
5 miles an hour wind.
Producer. Okay, 5 miles an hour. Thank you. You should have thrown in the word balmy there. It's a balmy 30 whatever. But no. That sounds like a decent day to kick. He should be fine. All right. So he's probably going to blow the cover. That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, looking at that, what's the total in that game?
42.5. Is that right? 42.5. Vegas knows.
Pretty interesting. I just pulled, I asked for, 3 and outs. We were talking about Detroit, and I was wondering out loud if Detroit had the least 3 and outs in the league. They actually don't. You guys want to take a guess?
Least 3 and outs.
Anybody in the chat want to take a guess?
I mean,
we've talked about this very thing.
Considering early down success, I would think the Commanders are up there, and then
San
maybe
Francisco,
Baltimore.
Wow.
San Francisco, lowest 3-and-out percentage in the league, 13%, followed by Atlanta, followed by Miami, followed by Detroit. So these teams at the top are, and I think the run game is the common denominator here. But you know who has the most 3-and-outs in the league? Crazy.
Most 3-and-outs
Ravens?
in the league.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Huh.
Wow.
29%. That's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild.
I was hit this.
Run game's been hit or miss.
It has
like
been.
If we're trying to get to that.
And Denver's number 2. Denver's number 2. In a bad way, Cowboy. In a bad way.
Yeah. Wow.
You must have had a lot of them early in the season.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, that's crazy. That's the team we're about to talk about, the Chargers. Let me get through this wrap up real quick and preview a couple games from the weekend.
Well, and real fast, we can announce our Howie Long signed jersey winner.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Because this is our Black Friday giveaway.
That's
nice
right.
Little fresh Howie Long jersey. It was sent to Arizona from NFLTeamShop.com, signed by your dad, and returned to Charlottesville, Virginia, where it resides right now. And we had
he's such a mensch. He writes his whole bio on the damn
he did
jersey.
He signed Howie Long 75 on the 7, and then he did Hall of Fame 2000, Super Bowl XBIII champs, All Decade 1980s, Depoy 1985. Let him know, Howie.
The Pro Bowl's in there too.
Let him know.
Dog, the other day I had to sign an Inside the NFL poster, and it was like me, Chad, Ryan, and Bill. And I was like the third one to sign it. And like Bill had under there. Like usually if I sign anything, I say 2-time Super Bowl champ, I leave all the Pro Bowl alternates off. But I always said, I go, so I get to, I look down at the damn paper and I'm about to write 2X Super Bowl champion, and Bill's got like 8X SB champion. I'm like, bro, fuck out of here, Bill. Like, let me live, dog. I can't get
You got him good though the other day on Inside the NFL when he was like, we got him 31st, and you were like, oh, what happened? Why
yeah, that was 31st? Funny because we were talking about Saquon Barkley, and he had this like scouting report up of Saquon from like his time in well, there were two things. It was funny because Bill and I get along great, where I can like bust his balls a little bit, and he was like, yeah, we were picking 31 that year, so we didn't really have a chance. And I was like, what happened? Why weren't you picking 32? And he was like, yeah, you got me.
It's yeah.
Eagles got me. I love Bill, dude. He is just a piece of work, dude.
That was
Thanksgiving with Bill would be incredible.
Oh yeah. Who do you think carves the turkey, him or his girlfriend's dad?
Next question. He does, dude.
Yeah.
He does. If he wants to carve the turkey, Bill carves the turkey.
And I'm sure his girlfriend's dad allows him, as he's like, hey, Bill, why don't you come on up here?
You're damn right.
We had, thanks to everyone who retweeted and shared our jersey announcement, signed Howie Long jersey. The winner is at Hey It's Bearish. Congratulations, at Hey It's Bearish.
Congrats at Hey It's Bearish. Congrats, you're gonna enjoy that jersey. It is a badass jersey, dude. Like the 75 silver and black. That's a sick one. Somebody on the chat said Mitch Trubisky and Gardner Minshew introduced themselves as Pro Bowlers. It's so true. And then somebody said, didn't Tyrod Taylor make it as an alternate? Yeah. Just a little secret. Half the guys walking around calling themselves Pro Bowlers made it as alternates. Just a little secret between you and me. All right, so now we've got, where am I? Chargers, Falcons. Or we have more giveaways?
No, that's it. But we'll have more
Okay,
throughout
cool.
the season, but that's it for today. Happy Black Friday.
That's right. That's what's called a tease. Okay, Chargers, Falcons. Dude, I think this game comes down to two very beleaguered units. They're like downtrodden, disrespected units. How well can the Chargers wide receivers play? J.K. Dobbins out in this game. Like, to me, that says you got to turn some of your run game into quick game. They have abandoned it at different moments as of late, and they couldn't get anything going on against the Ravens. And what I noticed, what was really apparent to me watching that game, was Justin Herbert needs help. Now, he could play better. One of the things that was troubling to me, and I don't know, can somebody confirm this, but I saw a stat where his QBR was like double in the first half what it is in the second half. That is not good. If that's the case, from what I see watching this group, this wide receiving core is going to hold them back a little bit. Like, it's hard to imagine them getting in the playoffs, and like, I know Lab McConkey is a hit, but it's hard to see them getting in the playoffs and you having to go to Quentin Johnson and Jalen Reagor in key situations and Will Dissly, and like, no disrespect to any of those guys, but like, you know, it's kind of like talking about the Commanders and Noah Brown being the recipient of a bunch of key third downs. That's like ideally not the way you want to be. And like, Quentin Johnson had 3 drops yesterday. It's not in a vacuum.
Yep.
It's not who he is, but it's maybe more who he is than who he isn't at this point. And the same, 4 drops total, and they happen in bad spots. And, you know, I'm looking back at the deadline and saying maybe we should have been more aggressive if you're the Chargers. But the one good thing they have going up for them this week is the Atlanta Falcons. They have a unit just like this, and actually probably worse, the pass rush.
Yep.
The defensive front for the Falcons just has not been good enough getting pressure. And in a game like this, like when Herbert is looking for a little bit of space to operate, he's going to have it. And I do lean Chargers here. Although the one thing that worries me about them is they couldn't stop the run last week. It was Monday night, holiday week, a lot of distractions. Like, you know, the schedule's different. Like, it's very non-standard a Thanksgiving week, even if you don't play on Thanksgiving. And when you add to the fact that you were on Monday night, thankfully hosting the Ravens, the Ravens kicked the door in. Like, they really did. It just became every short yardage situation. You couldn't get off the field. Defense got worn out. A short week, going to Atlanta, Thanksgiving week. I kind of wonder if this is an over game. I kind of wonder if the Chargers are a little bit worn out. And so that's my big thing here, you know. Also, two groups. Atlanta got shut down in the run game against Denver. They're going to come in there and want to make it a point. Chargers couldn't stop the run, so definitely Chargers banged up on paper defensively. Perryman hasn't practiced. Gilman hasn't practiced. Hart hasn't practiced. Falcons, negative point differential, but leading that division. I think real soon here they won't be leading that division. I think my disdain for their style of play is it's become obvious, so I'm not even going to try to hide it. I just like, sometimes when you break this shit down for a living, there's some teams you like and you don't like. It's not personal. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's like you fans, you know, if you don't live in a major NFL city and you didn't become a Cowboys fan or like a Steelers fan, like you pick. Who do you like? Who are your favorite players? Who are your favorite? Falcons are not one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
You know, they don't rush the passer. That's a big deal to me. And on top of it, you know, the offense has been very good, but if you can't get the run game going this week, or you can't get it going against Denver, the play action is not there. And so I'm just not a big fan. Just not a big fan. And so as you look at the standings here, okay, in the NFC, in the NFC South, you got a 6-5 and you got a 5-6. You got the Bucs and the Falcons. And if you look at their schedules, I think the Bucs have the edge there.
Yeah.
And so the
it's
Bucs,
an easier path.
Bucs this weekend are going to play the Panthers, who, beware, they're back. I don't know if they're ever here, but Bryce is so back. But, like, they're going to play the Panthers this weekend. Now, all of a sudden, if you lose this game, it's going to be 6-6, 6-6, and that tiebreaker only matters, of course, the head-to-head we're talking about, if you're in phase with the Bucs.
Right.
The Bucs have Carolina this week, Raiders next week. Then they're at the Chargers, at Dallas, and Carolina, New Orleans. Falcons have the Chargers this week. They go to Minnesota. They
Vikings.
Raiders, Giants, and then end Week 17 with the at Commanders and Week 18 at Panthers.
So it's going to come down to it. And I think the Bucs have done a good job of beating the teams they're supposed to beat. You know, like they've showed up with a business-like approach. Most games this season, it's just the Atlanta weeks really hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, not getting one win, splitting with Atlanta, that really hurts you. So, it's this is a big game for the Falcons.
With the Chargers, with the Chargers, real fast, they had like the number one scoring defense through Week 10. But the last 2 weeks, they allowed 27 points to the Bengals, 30 to the Ravens last week. Do you think that's more of a testament to their opponents, or maybe like a little slippage in their defensive preparation?
Well, they've been banged up, but they also just played the Ravens. And 2 weeks ago was I can't even remember right now. You got to help me
the
here.
Bengals, right?
Yeah, Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals. Yeah, how could I forget that game? So you played two of the best offenses in the league, you know. So I think it's a bit of that. I think they're a little banged up, but also you're seeing that, like, Jesse Minter's done a really good job, but eventually there's some talent issues on that side of the ball that they will get fixed. Yeah. You know, they will get fixed over time. Same thing with the wide receiving core. So they're way ahead of schedule. It's one of those teams that's like, did anybody think, I know some people did, but that they'd be competing for, you know, wild card this year? I guess it should have been more obvious. The guy, Jim Harbaugh, who took that San Francisco team in a strike-shortened season back when I played in the NFC West, took a team laden with veterans and kind of not a cohesive group, took them from, 6-10 or something like that to a 10-plus win team, 13-win team. And he did it in a season where you had less time to prep because of lockout. And he didn't have Justin Herbert. Now, I still think Justin Herbert's that dude, but he's got to play better in the second half. And there are moments in these games where I'm like, hey, this is on you, big fella. You know, it's on the beast. So this is going to be one he's going to have to win. The run game might not be humming. Got to go on the road and win this game.
No doubt.
The Falcons are going to be hungry.
Yeah.
They just got their ass kicked by God's team.
Yep. And they have to wait a week. They were on a bye. They have to wait a week to play. They've got to be itching to get after it. Eagles at Ravens, the big matchup this weekend.
Oh my God, that Black Friday game's at 3:00.
Yeah.
I get a nap.
Yeah, you get a nap.
That's where I breeze through this shit. Eagles, Ravens, right. Watch me speed up now. Eagles, Ravens. Two backs that average 6 yards a pop, say no more. You know, two MVP candidates. And, you know, honestly, if we're talking about Saquon Barkley as an MVP, we can't talk about Derrick Henry as an MVP.
Oh, he's certainly up there. Honestly, this game features 3 MVPs, like
Three.
maybe 4.
Well,
with
4
Jalen.
Count Cooper DeJean.
That's right,
dude. I was just about to say that. Saquon, Henry, and Cooper.
Dude, honestly, hey, I'm not really making this point, but like, if there were an MVP and then there were like a hidden MVP, like 2 awards, like MVP and then like MVPP, position player, MVP.
MVP.
Chill with all this offensive player of the year thing. Just, it could be anybody. It could be Quinyon Mitchell. It could be Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, the whole defense changed.
Yeah.
When he came in the game. Speaking of him, he's going to have to match up with Flowers. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think A.J. Brown's going to like whatever matchup he has. Like, that's when you can win, which means I got to see Jalen delivering the ball outside the numbers, man. Like, I think some shots would be great. I think you got to work the underneath, the middle of the field. But, like, I also, that's a place where we worry about the Ravens, the middle of the field. But you got to take your shots, too. Like, I got to see some, like, PIs, just get the ball. And that doesn't mean you can't run the football, but they're going to be ready. This isn't like walking into L.A. where you have a size mismatch and you just kind of run those guys over for 60 minutes. This is going to be a team that's going to be ready. So it's not always going to be as easy. But the thing you have on your side, Pierce, Roquan, limited, game time decision type things, Vanaway, Jones, not yet to practice. Jones was downgraded actually in the last 24, 48 hours. So Baltimore's got some injuries, and I think Baltimore played really well the other night defensively. I think they come back down to earth a little bit. And I think the Eagles are the better team. I do. That's my bias for sure. But they're the more complete, better team, in my opinion. And so one thing you got to watch for with Slay possibly down is the emergence of Rashad Bateman. I think for Ravens fans, you've been riding the wave with this guy. Like, he's had a couple different reputations in a young career. It feels like one of those things where you write a guy off, you say, hey, he's good, but he's not good. Now it kind of feels like Lamar and him have a little bit of a good rapport going.
Yeah.
And how about them on Monday night going? Talk about I got to give Harbaugh credit when credit's due. We shit on him when he doesn't do the right thing. Guy deserves a lot of damn credit. He's not only a great football coach, he's done it for a long time, but like he knew the tone of the game at the end of the half and knew to go for it. And then the shot that they took to Bateman, I mean, that game was won and lost right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he knew. Absolutely. It was like they knew if we took their best punch, let's pour it on and go into the second half and really kick their ass. And it felt like they just wore them down. So you're not going to be able to wear the Eagles down. This is not and the thing I like about the Eagles right now is the front's playing really well. The interior's playing really well. You don't have Brandon Graham anymore. But I do think the interior is just as important. I like Josh Sweat in pass rush out there. Like, I like Nolan Smith as an edge setter. Like, let's look at the positives. Okay? Like, there's still some guys on this defense that do some good things. So it certainly sucked to lose BG, but the sky's not falling. They have to be tough in the run game. Guys have to read their keys. When you play a team like this, it changes the whole way you practice. You spend all week on the option. You spend all week on quarterback landmark. You spend all week on, are we feathering the option? Are we going to take the dive? So there's going to be communication that these young guys are going to really have to be good on. And I think that's the key to the game for this front. Yes, if you get in pass rush situations, do I like Jalen Carter matched up against whoever in there? Fuck yeah, I do. Milton Williams came on, the whole thing. Do I think they've got a shot? I actually had a dream. I did have a dream that it's just coming back to me. I had a dream that the Eagles had to sign me. Again, it's a bit. It's a fucking bit. I'm not going back to play. But I had to get ready for Rosengarten. And I remember thinking, I was standing on the table for this kid on Inside the NFL. Now he's going to block my ass. They're going to just block my ass off. But that's a big matchup right there. Rosengarten and whoever plays over him in the pass game. The key is the communication and the rush lanes. When you play Lamar, it just turns into a thing where it's like, it's not just how hard you play, it's also how smart you play. And that's the mind fuck of playing Lamar, because you need 110% if that's possible. Like, you got to come with that scalded dog mentality where it's like, hey, we're all meeting at the football, and you better not be late. Everybody's got to be there. With Derrick Henry, with Lamar, it's like the effort gets turned way up. So you have to turn the intensity up, and you have to stay level-headed, and you have to know what your responsibility is on any given play, and you have to know what the rush lanes look like. Because this guy, we talk about MVPs. I went back and watched the 3 picks he's thrown this year. They're freak plays. It's like Spillane off of Bateman's hands. It's like somebody else off of Lamar or off of Andrews' hands. It's the Peyton Wilson, Peyton Turner, Wilson. I guess my fucking Peyton's all mixed up. Peyton Wilson with the pick of the year. Those are the 3 damn interceptions he's thrown.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It honestly is going to be hard to pick this year, but maybe it shouldn't be hard to pick the MVP. Saquon picked the wrong year to try to win an MVP because Lamar has been incredible. But now we're getting into the stretch of the season where it kind of gets to be like the Heisman, right? And if you don't play great in one of these big games, it can affect things. So I think those matchups outside are all going to be fun. And it was Sandra Still who picked him off. Nolan, our guy, Sandra Still.
Nailed it.
Most interesting name in the NFL. And, the Eagles are still hunting that quality win. I know they've had quality wins, but that, really benchmark win. Okay, going to Cincy was great. That was a big win. The way they kicked their ass, the way the defense played, that's what I was impressed with in that game. I haven't seen the Bengals look that anemic offensively in a while, right? And as good as they've been all year, like that, they beat the Commanders. That was a big game in division, but I think this would be the feather in the cap that makes you feel like going into the playoffs, like we have been battle tested, and we played a team like Detroit a little bit, in the explosiveness offensively and the physicality. So if you can match this intensity, great. You can go wherever you want to go. You got to take advantage of the middle of the field, and then you have to hit your shots outside the numbers. And I think for the Ravens, it's like let's find out if they can really handle 60 minutes of Derrick Henry. I think they're up to the task, but the backers have to be really good with play action pass. Really good with play action pass.
Yep.
And again, just shout out the tackles. They've kept guys off of the linebackers. Keep an eye on Ravens injuries. All right. Couple more games got to hit. Steelers, Bengals. I think the theme of this game is Steelers red zone has been awful, okay? Cincy's red zone defense, not much better. Classic, immovable object, unstoppable force situation. Who's going to be worse in the red zone? The Bengals defense or the Steelers offense? And not insignificant when it comes to the Bengals, the ping pong tables are back.
Yep.
Per Ben
I got
Baby.
a quote for you.
Big time.
Evan McPherson said, "We've got the ping pong tables back in the locker room. Everybody's excited. I feel like it rejuvenated everybody's spirit. We're excited. We're treating this like a whole new season. Ping pong, baby. Back." These are the kinds of things where I'm like, how
What a quote.
I feel like sometimes you hear the pro athletes are like, we're human just like everybody else. And I hear that and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
You really are. Like,
more human than human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prize ping pong table.
Dude,
That's great.
and the wherewithal to say that out loud. Like Joe Burrow might, hey, take a ride with me to Raising Cane's and give him one of the backseat fucking. I mean, Joe Burrow's ready to snap, dude. And he's hearing we got the ping pong tables back.
Yeah. Well,
Ohio quarterback beats teammate to death with ping pong paddle.
Yeah.
He's over there.
The surprising thing ever that it was the kicker who said it.
Yeah, right.
To be honest.
That's unbelievable.
Burrow's over there having his own MVP season, and the team can't help him out. He's definitely going to town on somebody with a ping pong paddle.
I don't know. That's crazy. All right. So, let's see. Pittsburgh, though, pass defense, a little bit nervous about Bengals pass offense. So that should be a fun game. I'm not going to give you too much more on that. Remember, I got a nap to get to. And then Cardinals Vikings. I think that's all going to come down to who handles the blitz better, which thus far has been Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Kyler. A couple weeks there, we were talking about Kyler MVP. Then you have that kind of game against Seattle, where I think if you make these guys drive the field, which is what makes me nervous about the Vikings, like their propensity to give up big plays, in the middle of the field and explosives. That's what worries me. Is like right idea, right? Like pressure this guy, but pick your spots. Make him drive the field, because the longer Arizona has to work at it, the worse they are. They seem to just get impatient. He seems to get impatient, the whole thing. So Darnold has the best passer rating against the blitz. Well, I wonder why.
Number one.
And I wonder why. He's just getting hit over the head with it every day in practice, whether he likes it or not. So this is an interesting one. And by the way, reminder, Ivan Pace is on IR in that game. If the season ended today, Vikings would play Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
In the playoffs. I think the Vikings, somebody in the chat asked if Vikings are for real. I do think they're for real. I just think they're a different kind of team than maybe what we thought they were in the beginning of the season. In the beginning of the season, you're thinking, hey, lights out defense, quarterback's a question mark, and he still is. Like, he's imperfect, but I think he's better than we gave him credit for. And I think the defense is more susceptible to the issues that they've been having than we thought. Right. So I think that if they want to get where they're going, they're going to have to win some shootouts, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you want what is the universe where the Vikings win a Super Bowl look like? They got to score. I do not think that all these games are going to be 2017. So, maybe one of those tests this week. I don't know. We'll see. And then Sunday night, we have Niners-Bills, which, when they made the schedule, they were like, oh.
Yep. Super Bowl
The whole Niners team is hurt. Purdy's limited with a shoulder. Trent, Bosa, Lenore, Banks, Elliott, DNP.
Yep.
I'm just.
Fred Warner shared this week he's been playing with a fractured ankle since week 4. Like they're just all banged up.
It's funny. It's funny because when you have an injury like that, you don't want to. When you have an injury like that, you don't want to talk about it so much, right? Like, because people then know you're playing with a fractured ankle, but then eventually you want to talk about it. There was a time where I had a high ankle and shot it up for 8-10 weeks and didn't miss any time. And I was missing practice all week. And they just had me for an ankle on the injury report. And this is I feel like now you can't get away with stuff like this because gambling is such a part of the game. And we are real sticklers on knowing everything. But I remember going up to Spags week 10 of having this thing and be like, can you tell people at some point that I'm not just missing practice for 6 weeks straight because of a low ankle sprain, and can you tell people eventually that I'm doing this on a bad wheel, right? I think Fred wants people to know that, and he should. And he fucking should. You're playing on a fucking broken ankle. You're a dog, and people should know you're a dog. So I'm glad we're out of the phase where he couldn't talk about that. The point where now you can kind of let that be known. He's just an absolute alpha.
A quick breaking news for you fellas. There's been a firing. The Bears have fired Matt Eberflus.
Wow.
It's a good one to end on. Chicago fans, are all your problems gone? I don't know if they are, but I kind of wonder, hey, fly on the wall. Ben Johnson yesterday, watching Caleb Williams.
This can work.
Oh, I think I could, second half of that game, a couple of the throws, wait, I can move the pocket?
Yeah, exactly. Plays can extend.
Plays can extend. And, hey, Jared Goff's playing as well as anybody.
Yeah.
Just a very different kind of QB. And
yeah.
And I think it could be really fun to watch Ben Johnson with this group offensively. I know that Bears fans would probably jump at the opportunity, and Lions fans would probably be super upset to have to see him in division. But it's so funny. If you're a Lions fan, like last year, Ben Johnson, he's like, I don't want to go to Carolina. And everybody's like, yeah. And then this year, like, had he gone to Carolina, you don't have to see him in division, but now you might have to see him in division. Ben Johnson's a bad boy.
Bad, dude.
Yeah. Fucking looks like a villain in a Die Hard movie or like some 90s movie.
And he's gonna run those. He's gonna run plays for those Bears offensive linemen like he did Penei Sewell yesterday.
Oh.
Gonna do it.
Oh, dude, how about the fans cheering for that awesome yard?
Yeah,
that was incredible. That was so football.
Amazing.
That was so Detroit. That was so Thanksgiving. Listen, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Just a reminder that, for what it's worth, as I said with Alex Ingold, these guys are all out there busting their tails. They're risking their health. I know they get paid a lot, but it's pretty damn cool that we can sit there and just gorge ourselves with food and watch 9 hours of football. I don't care how shitty it is. I don't care how lopsided it is. We can wager money. Guys are on the field getting hurt. They're getting checked out. Like, we're just living it up. I'm very thankful for the game of football as a fan, being able to now sit back and watch it and obviously analyze it. The game of football has it's done wonders for me and my family, and it taught me a lot. Now as a fan, I'm thankful for it in that way. But just wanted to close on saying I'm very thankful for not only the listeners of this show, the producers, we said that earlier this week, but also the game, man. I'm just thankful for the game. Love the game. And love having something to talk about, man, and something to watch, man. And these guys are all busting their asses out there, and some of them are getting fired today, and some of them are sitting in a metal tube getting, an MRI read, like Malcolm Rodriguez, and, Flus probably had Thanksgiving set up for today for his family and him, and you're getting fired. I'm not saying these guys are going to war or they're veterans, but what I am saying is I appreciate these dudes, man. It can be. I've done this before, and football broke up Thanksgiving for years. When I was a kid, we never had holidays on the actual day. I'd go to school and wish people a Merry Christmas, and they'd be like, "You idiot! It's not Christmas." I'd be like, "My family said it was," because we'd move it, or we'd move Thanksgiving, or when I was playing, my parents would go to one to Chicago to see my brother one year, then to me, and holidays can be tough for these guys, and I'm just very thankful that we get to watch it. I love the game, and we went through it this week on Inside the NFL. What are you thankful for in your football life? And the first thing I said was, first thing off the top of my head was the early 2010s Rams defensive line. Hold on a second. I'm going to close with this. All right? Not going far. I want to thank these boys right here and many others. Okay? I love you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. They asked me on Inside the NFL what I'm most thankful for. I'm thankful for that group. I'm thankful for all my teammates and all my coaches, but that group, I just absolutely love those dudes. Michael Brockers, Aaron Donald, William Hayes, Eugene Sims, Jamel Cujo, Kendall Langford. I'm sure I'm forgetting 50. Robert Quinn, obviously. Fuck, am I thankful for him? Except for he got a bunch of the sacks I would have got if I was a little quicker. Gotta be quicker than that. But I'm just so thankful for that group, for Mike Waffle, our D-line coach. He used to call us a brotherhood of men, and that's what it still feels like. I still talk to those guys. We all wished each other happy Thanksgiving yesterday. I'm thankful for my coaches. I got a FaceTime this morning from Ken Flagel, and it was a fucking butt dial. I picked up in the morning where I live. First thing I do is I go out on the back porch and take a piss because there's nobody out here. So that's my morning routine. I'm out there having my Black Friday piss, and I get a FaceTime from Ken Flagel, and of course, neck up. I pick it up. I'm smiling. I see his face upside down, looking at the phone. I know it's a butt dial because he does this for me time to time. And the fucker hangs up. He sees me. I see him, and I'm like ready to talk. It's like 8 a.m. I'm like, yo, Flage. And he texts me. He's like, I'm on my run in Kiowa. I'm doing a little jog. I'm like, it's funny you called me this morning because I am thinking about, all the things I'm thankful for, all the people in football that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for, Flage, for, Doug Peterson, for just this game gave me so much. It gave me me and my family security, health, the whole thing. We're very blessed. And I'm also thankful for you listeners that continue to help me pay the bills, man, and the guys behind the camera. So I just, I'm very appreciative. And I know it's Thanksgiving and that's what this thing's all about, but it's why it's my favorite holiday. Now, the one thing I don't love is all the text messages, which kind of goes counter to my whole rant here. You don't need to text. I know you're thankful. I'm thankful for you, But the text messages can really pile up on Thanksgiving, can't they? And then you're like, damn, I got to say you too like 400 times. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thankful you didn't text me.
I'm thankful you didn't text me. If you didn't text me, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. I know you're thankful. I love y'all. Anyways, I'm thankful for the fans. Golly. You know what I'm thankful for? All those Rams fans, they used to wait outside. There was this couple from like North Dakota or something, and they were like 80 years old. And they used to wait outside at the Edward Jones Dome. And there was no security because nobody gave a shit. It was like there was no like, hey, you can't wait out here. It was like 7 people. And those people waited every game, after every game, noon, night, whatever it was, to have a 5-minute conversation with me, try to cheer me up. They bring me like little food and like recipes and shit. And then they drive back. They get in the car and drive back to Nebraska. I think it was what it was. Just people like that, man. I met so many people like that along the journey. So football and Thanksgiving, hand in hand. Love y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. Go bet the Chiefs. It's not gonna be fun to bet the Raiders.
I don't mean to totally torpedo that beautiful ending of the show, but we need to hit our most random player, the Chargers Falcons game.
Nice.
Most random player from the Chargers Falcons.
Somebody wants me to talk about the firing. Man, you're fucking late. I already talked about the firing. Jesus. What do you want me to say? Matt Eberflus couldn't really coach. Fired. Like, holy shit. What do I need to do a biopic of Matt Eberflus? Who would play Matt Eberflus in a biopic? Chat, you figure that one out. Let's pick MRP.
Chargers Falcons.
Game of the week.
TJ Duckett.
Whoa, no. I think it's gonna be Eagles Ravens. Or we
all right. You want to do that?
Yeah.
we done too much Eagles Ravens?
We've
think,
yeah. Chargers Falcons is a
Chargers,
game we
Falcons.
haven't done yet, or
Okay.
teams that we haven't done yet. But we can run them back.
Shout out to Joe Barksdale. You know, shout out to let's see, who's the most random Falcons?
TJ Duckett by Nolan was a great one.
Yeah.
TJ Duckett's a good one.
A lot of Madden with TJ Duckett. Power back. A lot of hit stick.
Ryan Matthews.
Sure. Running back?
Mm-hmm.
Number 24?
Yep.
He's a good player.
Good player.
Falcons, I'll tell you about a player that still haunts my nightmares. Michael Turner. That's why I smoke so much pot. So I don't have to have dreams about Michael Turner, because when you smoke pot, you don't dream. I'd probably be having a bunch of Michael Turner nightmares, dude. The guy was like, here's what my nightmare of Michael Turner would look like. Me sitting somewhere and like, it would be like, damn, why am I sitting on the hardwood? Am I on a basketball? Holy shit, I'm in a bowling alley. Why am I in the middle of the lane? Holy shit, it's Michael Turner shaped like a bowling ball. That would be my nightmare, because the guy was like a literal bowling ball. He was like a boulder rolling down a hill. Oh, Falcons legend, OCU Manura. How about this? Not random, but John Abraham. That dude was such a dog. I remember hanging out with him when I was young, and he was super cool. And he was like, hey, man, you know what my biggest advice is? Don't even go for the sack. Just go for the ball. I was like, man, that's pretty cool that you're back there enough to have like
the choice,
a plan. Yeah. Like, I'm just scratching and clawing to get back there, brother. He was like, yeah, I never try for the sack. I just go for the ball. Like, all the time? Anyways, Harvey Dahl. How about Harvey Dahl?
Harvey Dahl.
Nice. Y'all probably don't remember Harvey Dahl, but he used to try to kill people. I mean, he was like one of the dirtbags of the dirtbags. He played with me in St. Louis, too.
Shout out Truth Bear. He dropped Tim Dwight, both a Falcon and a Charger.
Tim Dwight. Love that.
Yeah.
Quentin Jammer.
Jason Snelling from old Dr. Fax.
Yeah, the trash people just got here. I can hear them outside. They're like, holy shit, were there 40 people here at this fucking house? Yes, there were.
Hey, we'll have our MRP tweet up later today.
Oh, Jason Snelling. Dr. Fax is in.
He's in here.
199 to say Jason Snelling.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, Fax. I love you.
We'll have our MRP tweet up. You can drop it in there, your MRP, and we'll decide on Monday, 2:30 p.m. Is when we're rocking that.
I'm thankful for the equipment guys, man. Jimmy Lake and the boys in L.A., Delamitros in Philly, and, you know, the guys up in New England, too. I'm thankful for those guys, man. You know, they used to just give us clothes, no questions asked. They used to wash our clothes, put them on a rope. They'd be there clean sometimes the next day, sometimes they wouldn't feel so clean. Thankful for those guys, man. I'm thankful for the receptionist. You're going to have to cut me off. I'm so fucking thankful. You're just going to have to end the stream. I'm thankful for, you know what else I'm thankful for? Reed?
Huh.
Hold on. I'm going to think about it. I'm thankful for the people in the yellow jackets at the stadium.
That's right, the event staff.
I'm thankful for the chain crew, bro. Their guys are 80 years old. We're getting non-contact injuries on these fellas. Shouldn't even be out there. I'm thankful for you guys. All right? What are you doing on Thanksgiving? I got to hold a chain and possibly get both my ACLs torn. All right. Yeah. Guys, take care.
Great stream. Take care. Enjoy. Black Friday football.
Yeah, just don't go to Best Buy. Don't be a zombie. Just order some shit online. Call it a day. Take care.